Morning.
Good morning.
We're going to get started. Everybody find a seat.
At ease.
Wrap up conversations. We can continue on later.
Good morning.
Good morning, Mindy.
And we're going to tell you now, this microphone is just for the radio, not for amplification of the room. But everybody knows to speak up. And if you can't hear, just raise your hand from the back of the room. But I'm Mindy Tate, Executive Director for Franklin Tomorrow, and this is
Tim Murphy. I'm president of the Franklin Tomorrow Board.
Hey Tim, you got a button on. What's that?
Well, I'm feeling joyful today.
I'm feeling thankful. I'm thankful we got such a great group for FrankTalks this morning.
And if you hadn't already gotten thankful, that's what I would have got, because that's really what I am. That was the closest thing I could get to it. So, but if you haven't gotten one of the buttons, go back there and check it out. And Taylor will be glad to explain to you everything that's going on, because he did an awesome job explaining it to me this morning.
So this is our FrankTalks. When do we have FrankTalks?
Second Monday of every month.
Different locations across the city. If you register for this program, you'll receive information about our upcoming FrankTalks and other programs. This is also, we're really glad to have Taylor here, and we're going to let Taylor talk in a minute, but this is also Random Acts of Kindness Week. In your seat, in many of your seats, you found a sheet about some suggestions for random acts of kindness that you can do this week, or you can go to the Random Acts of Kindness page and learn more about how to be and promote kindness and be nice in our community. We've got a lot of people from Williamson County schools here and other schools, and they have the Be Nice campaign, but as adults and parents and grandparents, we need to be nice as well and practice random acts of kindness. So my kindness is that you don't have to speak anymore, so if you don't want to.
Well, I'm going to say one last thing. Liking something on social media is not a random act of kindness. So have a conversation with somebody. Interact, right? Thank you, Mindy.
Thank you. Thanks, Tim. Thank you so much for being here, and we do hope that you participate in FrankTalks as often as you can. It is on a monthly basis, and we couldn't do this without the great support of Vanderbilt University Office of Community, Neighborhood, and Government Relations. Lynn Maddox is here. Wave. She helped check you in. If you did not get a book before when you sat down, one of our speakers, Michael Acker, has brought the Blue Zone Solutions by Dan Buechner. Get that on your way out. But I'm going to get this program started because our goal is to have you out of here in about an hour and 10 minutes. That's when our program ends. You don't have to leave, but we won't have anything else to do that time frame. But I'm going to first turn this over, and Taylor, I'm going to have you come around this side since that's all blocked up, and turn it over to Taylor Cochran from Insight Counseling, who's going to tell us about our mood pens.
Good morning. Is it okay if I walk around? I don't know if I need to be talking to the microphone. Well, my name is Taylor Cochran. I'm the Director of Development and Marketing at Insight Counseling Centers. I'm here to talk about that mood wall in the back in a campaign that we're going to be hosting in Franklin this coming May. But prior to doing that, I want to give you a little bit of context about Insight Counseling Centers and the story behind this campaign. So Insight, we've been around Middle Tennessee for 30 years and provide individual, couple, and family therapy on a sliding scale. So our sliding scale is from $30 to $125 per session, but we have clients who see us for less than $30 for different scenarios. We have about every type of licensure on staff: addiction counselors, social workers, marriage and family therapists, Spanish-speaking services as well. And every year we give out a little over $400,000 in financial assistance for clients to receive this care. And if any of y'all have a spouse who's a clinician or have worked with clinicians before, you would know that you can't be around them without it rubbing off on you. So I started working with Insight a little over 2 years ago. Had no background in mental health prior, and working with 15 therapists a day, you begin to see the value of therapy. It rubs off on you, and you start speaking the language. And after working there for about 6 months or so, I really began to see the value of therapy. So I started going to a counselor in Nashville. And I remember in one of my sessions, I told my therapist, I said, I wish people didn't have to hide how they feel all the time. And I left that session with this thought: how can Insight be at the forefront of advocacy and awareness in Middle Tennessee, and really redefine the way people relate to their emotions? And the result was a month-long campaign called the Nashville Mood. And what we did, we placed these mood walls in 10 Nashville neighborhoods. And each wall had 1,000 buttons on it with 21 different emotions. And the idea was for pedestrians walking by to take a button off the wall that describes how they're feeling and literally wear their emotions. The emotions we chose, and I have to apologize, these are buttons from last year's campaign. So all we have are like these negative emotions, which are fine.
It's fine to have those, right?
Yeah, it's fine to have those. I was having a conversation with someone here earlier saying that emotions are good. They're indicators to let us know what's really going on. But some of the emotions we have, it's what people can relate to and identify with: blah, grumpy, joyful, grateful. So within 48 hours of launching this campaign last year, we went through 10,000 buttons. And at the end of the month, from media alone, we reached over 3 million people, plus social media engagement, and then folks who actually visited a physical wall. So it was wildly successful, and we saw about a 20% spike in counseling sessions provided, and end of the year about a 30% increase in sessions provided, which is bad that there's a need that great, but also shows that people are seeking help. So we're going to be hosting this campaign in Rutherford and Williamson County this coming May, and right now in the process of finding location partners and corporate sponsors, and any other collaborative partnership that y'all can dream up. We are open to it, whether that is bringing a traveling mood wall to one of your schools, a youth group, whatever you think would be beneficial. And as I've told a lot of folks, this is your community. I'm a Nashville native. I don't know Williamson County like y'all do, and I welcome your advice on how we can make this campaign successful and get folks talking about what's really going on and really just guide them to help. So I'll be back here. Please feel free to come talk to me if you have any questions or would like to partner. And thanks so much.
Thanks, Taylor.
Appreciate it.
We'll have time for some questions and answers for all our speakers at the end, but don't leave today without wearing your emotions on your lapel, okay? Let people know how you're feeling. It is Monday, but we'll be okay with that.
Beautiful.
It's a beautiful Monday. It's a beautiful Monday. So next I want to bring up Michael Acker. Michael is going to talk to us about Blue Zones and the book, Blue Zone Solutions. I should probably advance this, shouldn't I? Oh, or I'll let you do it, Michael, because I'm so bad at it. We have met with Michael, Mayor Moore and I have met with Michael previously about the Blue Zone Solutions program, which is an initiative of Healthways, one of our corporate partners. Okay, decided not to work now.
Sorry. What's going on?
All right, let's see if we
That's a
can.
true blue zone.
It's a blue. We've gone into a blue zone. I'm not going to let my emotion change though. Okay? It's not going to affect my mood at all. There we go. There you go. And you can just go into your program.
Okay.
But Michael also is the one who brought you a book today, the Blue Zones Solution. And if you didn't get one before, please be sure and take one. But I'm going to let Michael speak on the Blue Zones and the Wellbeing Index.
Thank you, Mindy. Yeah, my desk is turning into a little bit of a storage facility, so it was easy to offload 100 or so books this morning. I'm really thrilled to be here, so thanks for having me. I got my pin here, and it says bummed. Today's budget day at my office, so I'm really bummed to have to avoid that. I'm going to talk a little bit this morning. I have about 20 minutes or so. I'm going to talk a little bit about the Blue Zones. The lessons that we've learned from some of the longest lived populations in the world and how we're applying those lessons back into communities across the country. Michael Acker, I'm with a company here in town called Healthways. I've been a part of Healthways for the last 8 years or so. I oversee the work that we're doing across the country with the Blue Zones Project. So I spend about 80% of my time traveling the country, talking to folks like yourselves that are looking to make their communities healthier. So thank you again for having me. Something called the Danish Twin Study found that only, if you look at what dictates how long we live, only about 20% of that is made up by our genes, our DNA. 80% of how long we live is actually determined by our lifestyle, our behaviors, and our environment. And so the premise of the blue zones, the hypothesis was, if we could find the places where people were living measurably longer, into their 90s and 100s, at 10 times we see here in the United States, and we could distill the learnings from those populations, we could apply them back into our communities. And so this work, the Blue Zones, was founded by Dan Buettner, author of the book that you have, a National Geographic explorer, photographer, journalist, who was commissioned by National Geographic to find these places across the world, find these geographically confirmed pockets where people are living longer, but not just longer, with significantly reduced chronic disease and quality of life into their later years. So he published a National Geographic article. It was the second most read edition in their history, and ultimately the book, The Blue Zones, and subsequently the Blue Zone Solution, which I brought today. So these places he called Blue Zones. He found originally 5 of these places, and so ranging from Okinawa to Japan to Ikaria, Greece, Sardinia, Italy, Nicoya Peninsula in Costa Rica, and even here in the United States there's a Blue Zones, Loma Linda. High concentration of Seventh-day Adventists living in Loma Linda, California. And so Dan's work was not just to find these places, but to distill those learnings. What are those behavioral and environmental characteristics and commonalities across these blue zones to determine what was explaining this exceptional longevity? What do places like Okinawa, Japan have to teach us? In Okinawa, they have the longest disability-free life expectancy in the entire world. They on average live roughly 7 to 12 years longer than we do here in the United States. 5 times as many centenarians, so you have a 5 times greater chance of living to 100 in Okinawa than you do here in the United States. And 1/5 of the rate of breast and colon cancer. So these places, blue zones, they have what we're striving for, what many of you in the room here today are working on. Same with some of those chronic diseases like cardiovascular disease and diabetes. So what were these lessons? What could you point to start to explain some of this? In the blue zones, they didn't run triathlons and marathons. They didn't go to the gym. They moved naturally. Their environments were set up in a way that occasioned natural movement. They were growing their own food in their gardens. They were walking. Their homes were deconvenienced. How many of you walked to school when you were a kid? How many of your kids walked to school? Our environments have changed over the last 30, 50 years or so. We've just denormalized a natural component of physical activity into our children's lives. And so moving naturally